just a straight, direct line to the football guys because he's like a football whisperer when it comes to anticipating what the game is going to be like, how we need to win, and things like that. I'm extremely impressed with that. But for me, trying to find ways to keep this team in a manageable situation offensively is one of the things that I have to keep doing and keep doing a better job at.
I'm going to get to what Cam said in 1 second. Cam legit walked into his closet yesterday and said, what would be the best thing to win? That's it.
Yep.
With the hat, we nailed it. Now all we got to do is win. Kevin Wildes, buddy, we laughed at you. We laughed, exactly. We laughed at you on Friday. We laughed at you on the air. We laughed at you behind your back. We were like, is he no way Patriots pulled this out. Somehow the Patriots pulled this out. What do you have to say to all of us laughers this morning, KW?
Okay, first of all, I forgive everyone. Because after the show, I went down and said, you know what? I was looking at my Christmas list, and I said, I'm going to downgrade everyone to coworkers or people I occasionally talk to. And it went from friends to coworkers, and it was a tough decision for me, and your Christmas presents were going to reflect it. When you just got, you know, a tin of cookies, you're like, wow, I shouldn't have picked against the Patriots. Here's the thing, though, Nick. There's a lie that we tell children all across America. And you know what that lie is? You know what? If you just punch the bully, in the face, they'll no longer be a bully. They're actually just scared. Not true. Sometimes the bully comes back, says, you know what? Still a bully. In fact, I'm going to increase my bullyhood. And that's what Bill Belichick did. Told you on Friday, said, what do we do? He says, oh, Kevin, we always know. You take away the best thing. I'm like, yeah, I told you. So the Ravens came in, averaging 170 yards in a game that you had to run the ball because we're in a monsoon. They ran for 115 yards. A team did run for 170 yards. Who was that? Uh-oh. It's Bill Belichick and Rex Burkhead and Damian Harris of the Patriots. Hello, everybody. Basic football wins games. We run the ball. We don't turn the ball over. And we've got one little trick play. Jacoby Myers throwing the ball. Just love it. It's just, that's a little Josh McDaniels sprinkle, a little salt-based sprinkle on the offensive game plan. So I've got advice for everybody. If you want to stay in my good graces, don't root against the Patriots. You don't have to. But go to fanatics.com and you can order, Nick, you can order more stuff. You can order your Texans gear. You can order the Cardinals gear because that's who the Patriots up against. And if we get to over 500 or get in the playoffs, oh boy, it's going to be bad news for Tua. It's going to be bad news for the Chiefs. Oh, I know you're from Pittsburgh, Brandon. Bad news for the Steelers. You don't want to see us anymore. The bully's back, Nick. The bully is back.
So here's the listen. So first, let me give Wildes credit. There's no problem. I mean, there's a bit of a problem.
Thank you.
But Wildes deserves credit for believing in his team in the face of what I thought was an impossible task, which was beating the Ravens in a game the Ravens really needed in conditions that actually I thought weren't necessarily going to favor the Ravens, but a team that is that run heavy, I thought they'd be fine in the rain and the wind that was expected for Sunday night. Instead, the Ravens couldn't snap the ball. They were a mess in multiple phases of the game, and the Ravens do appear, and we haven't talked about it enough, to desperately miss their all-pro left tackle, who they gave $100 million to, and then he got knocked out for the season a couple weeks ago. It's a great win by the Patriots, and it is a vintage Belichick performance. Bill Belichick reminded everyone that we still need to put respect on his name. I was out here saying, was Brian Flores, had he replaced him as the best coach in the AFC East? Belichick said, not so fast, my friend. The problem for the Patriots, however, Brandon, does become, do they have enough time to make up the ground they've already lost, especially with Miami surging and with that devastating loss they had to Buffalo a few weeks ago? I don't think they do, but, Brandon, I have to give Wildes credit in this regard. You could have written their season off had they lost yesterday. I was certain they were going to lose yesterday. In addition to the Browns and Cardinals bad beats I took, I made a bad bet on the Ravens, -6.5. That was dead from kickoff. So the Patriots stayed alive, but I don't think that heartbeat is much more than a faint one right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Nick. They don't have enough time. But I want to go back to Wilds. Wilds, buddy, let's go back to Friday. We had Mike Vick on, and Nick and Jenna. Everybody was against you. I said verbatim, I'm riding with you. That's exactly what I said. Do you not remember that? So I feel like we both should be on this pedestal right now for giving these amazing takes Monday morning. I said, I'm riding with you.
No.
Do you not remember that?
Brandon
Wild's correct.
Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall. So. You said, I'm riding with you. And on a scale of 1 to 10,
I said I'm riding with you.
I'm a 2. You said you were a 2. So like you were you were not riding with me. I was hitchhiking on the side of the road, and you said I'm riding with you, and you opened up the door, and then you did one of those. You kept going, and I had to chase you like a fool. You're not riding with me. You're not riding with me. But we're back to being friends.
All right, Brandon, let's talk some receiver rankings now. DeAndre Hopkins, Hail Mary catch, that stole the show this weekend. Last week, you said, besides the fact that you're riding with you, meaning Wilds, last week you also said DK Metcalf is the best wide receiver in football. Did Nuke's catch catapult him over DK in your receiver rankings?
Yeah, I mean, all year when I answer this question, I'm always looking at both DK Metcalf and DeAndre Hopkins. Now, if I'm an executive, if I'm a general manager, if I'm an owner right now, and I'm building my team from scratch, and I got to take the wide receiver, I'm probably going to take DK Metcalf because of the upside. This kid has shown to be able to learn very quickly. He came in raw. He wasn't able to put his foot in the ground at the top of his routes, but he's developed at an extremely fast pace. And then the deep ball, he does a great job of really making plays in the passing game. However, another thing that I look at when I'm breaking down a wide receiver, there's 32 number one jobs, but there's really only 10 probably number one wide receivers. And when I look at it, I got to see a guy that can beat one-on-one. I got to see a guy that can stand up in big moments. And I kind of broke this down on Friday. DeAndre Hopkins has been a guy that's showed us time, year after year after year, that he can make these plays. Nick, you talked about him early on in our show, highlighting the amazing catch that he had. He's done that year in and year out. So I have to say right now, in this moment, looking at the last couple weeks, I'm going with DeAndre Hopkins. You got to put respect on this kid's name now. We always have Michael Thomas, 142 catches. You have Julio Jones, is Mr. Consistent, 1,500, 1,600 yards. This guy, for the last 6-7 years, has done this over and over and over again, and we continue to overlook him. DeAndre Hopkins, I'm not overlooking you anymore. Now, can things change in the next couple weeks? Can I be fickle? 100%. But right now, Jenna, I'm going with DeAndre Hopkins as my number one wide receiver in the National Football League.
I've got a very, very quick, wildly controversial take the audience can consider during the break. There is no best wide receiver in the NFL right now. There are 6 eligible candidates. There is the title belt right now is vacant. Jenna, it's a vacant belt, and there's 6 contenders vying for it. Wilds can fake snore all he wants. It's the right take. There is no best receiver in the NFL right now. Consider that.